My daughter Ashley, she's no longer here with us, and
You've probably seen the story about how Ashlee Jenae was found dead in a hotel in Tanzania, and her fiancé Joe McCann is claiming that she took her own life. But her family is already on the FBI's neck because they don't trust that the Tanzanian authorities are going to give this case the attention it truly needs. And honey, even the authorities have reportedly picked up on things that allegedly point straight to the fiancé. Because first of all, let's talk about that fierce look this man kept giving Ashlee. Baby, anybody calling that romantic seriously needs to rethink their dating standards, because that stare was not love, it was cold. And then there's the alleged double strangulation marks, because why would there be 2 marks on Ashlee's neck if she was the one who supposedly took herself out? That doesn't make sense. And then number 3, the most suspicious part of all, Joe allegedly secretly purchased a large insurance policy for Ashlee with himself listed as the beneficiary. So was the proposal really love, or was it insurance fraud? Was he using her life as a way to cover financial losses? And it gets even worse because he didn't notify Ashlee's family until 11 hours later. And during that time, he continued updating social media like everything was normal, as if nothing had happened. Baby, it's giving that this man unalived Ashlee on that trip. And today, I'm breaking down everything that suggests her fiancé may have planned the entire thing. Because first, we need to talk about the vibe of the trip. Ashlee was in Zanzibar at a super luxury wildlife resort for her 31st birthday. And on April 5th, her boyfriend Joe McCann got down on one knee while they were literally walking with wild animals. And she even posted a beautiful message saying, "If this is a dream, no one wake me up." She looked happy, glowing, excited. And then exactly 7 days later, she's gone. And Joe tells the local police she roped herself in their room. But here's the thing, her family and her closest friends, including Savannah Britt, were screaming from the rooftops that Ashlee would never do that to herself, and that Joe is responsible for her death. And we have to go back to that look he gave her, because romantic is not the word I would use. In all the engagement photos, videos, and older pictures, Ashlee looks like she's on cloud 9, totally present and in love. But Joe, his face is stiff, his eyes look cold, and his entire energy feels off. If a man ever looked at me like that, I wouldn't be blushing, I'd be looking for the nearest exit. And according to comments on Ashlee's social media, people were already clocking that Joe might be dangerous. Someone even commented, "Please don't chop her up and put her in a wall." And Ashlee responded, "I don't get chopped, just screwed." Another person commented around 20 weeks ago that he was going to unalive her. Another said, "He is going to harm you, get out." And that alone is terrifying, because how are strangers clocking this man through a screen, but Ashlee couldn't see it? But once you piece everything together, it starts making sense, especially when you realize Joe was allegedly going broke. Because Joe runs a crypto fund called Asymmetric, but word on the street is that the fund basically crashed, and we're talking about an 80% loss in 2025. That is millions and millions of dollars wiped out. The fund was designed to profit off huge market swings, but as the crypto market stabilized in 2025, the strategy stopped working and the fund bled out. And high-profile investors were furious, and one well-known figure at Big Brain So even publicly said he would never invest in those kinds of funds again after his portfolio shrank by nearly 80% under McCann's management. And almost immediately after the fund crashed, McCann announced a new plan to raise $1.5 billion for a company called Accelerate. So he was basically trying to fail upward, launching a massive new venture while his previous investors were still devastated. And this is where Ashlee comes in. Because if McCann was struggling to fund that $1.5 billion project, or if he owed money to powerful people after losing 80%, a massive life insurance payout would be a fast way to get liquid cash. So the assumption is that Joe's plan was to take out the policy, propose in a high visibility way to prove their relationship was perfect, and then have a tragedy happen in a foreign country with different legal standards. That is literally the perfect plot. And people believe he thought doing this in Tanzania wouldn't attract major attention, but now it's backfiring because everyone is on his case. And honestly, the alleged physical details are the scariest part. because some reports mention double marks on Ashlee's neck, and in a normal scenario, you usually see one specific mark. But if there are two, it could mean someone tried to choke her first and then tried to stage it as something else. And they say this happened just 96 hours after the proposal. So you're telling me she was glowing on camera with lions one day, and then a few days later, she was suddenly so depressed that she took herself out? That doesn't sound believable. It sounds way more like she was fighting for her life. And the struggle would explain why things looked messy, because if someone, in this case Joe, was trying to make it look like she offed herself, he didn't do a very good job if even the internet can spot the inconsistencies. And to make it even worse, instead of mourning, people noticed Joe was still posting about AI and crypto on X. Like, if you just lost your fiance, is your first thought really your social media aesthetic? And many people suspect he may have been deleting posts from Ashlee's account too, because followers noticed that many posts from their time together mysteriously disappeared from her socials. And now another thing people keep pointing out is that Joe may have suggested Zanzibar because he knows how corrupt things can be there. Because if you're a millionaire like Joe McCann, going somewhere where the local systems are known for flexibility could be a strategic move. And people say in Zanzibar, money talks. And if you're a high-flying crypto guy, you don't even need that much cash to influence things. And the sad truth is that in places where the legal system is struggling, millionaire Joe McCann can sometimes influence the narrative. And people are even questioning whether the initial story was just an easy way for local authorities to close the case quickly and keep the tourism image clean. Because this is what they said. Police in Zanzibar confirmed that self-unaliving was the cause of death of the 31-year-old American lifestyle influencer Ashlee Robinson, better known online as Ashlee Jenae. And they said she died while on holiday with her fiancé in Tanzania, and that although initial reports suggested foul play, the police commander Benedict Megan told a citizen that they ruled out foul play in her death. And he claimed the incident happened on Thursday, April 9th, 2026, when the woman is said to have blanked herself using a piece of cloth from her dress inside a wardrobe. And the regional police chief said the couple had been staying together, but later had a disagreement and hotel management separated them into different rooms. And they said she was still alive when police were notified. She was rescued and taken to the hospital, but she passed away the next day, Friday, April 10th. And basically, the authorities concluded there was no foul play, which is ridiculous considering everything that has come out. And as if that isn't suspicious enough, there's claims that Joe waited 11 hours before telling Ashlee's family she was in the hospital. And think about it, during those 11 hours, what was happening? Was he making calls? Was he talking to the right people? Was he making sure the story stayed on his side?
Told me that Ashlee did something to herself and that she was being taken to the hospital. I said, what happened when? And he told me it had been 11 hours prior.
Hours later, the luxury resort the couple was staying at called saying that Ashlee passed away. According to the hospital.
And this is exactly why Ashlee's family is not playing around at all. Because with everything that has happened, they're now publicly pushing for the FBI to step in and take over this case, since they know a local investigation in Zanzibar might not be enough to uncover the real truth, especially if money and influence are involved. And what they want is for American investigators to look deeper into the forensics, the insurance policies, and Joe's entire digital footprint. And honestly, that might be happening sooner than people think, because there are already reports claiming that a private investigator has been hired. And something about this situation feels like it's being dragged under the rug. So I'm genuinely dying to know what you think. What do you believe really happened here? Do you think Joe planned and carried out her death? And what do you think the motive was? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below.